Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price right now. As check this 6-hour institutional candle that just closed. Extremely bullish candle symmetry, and we're above the weekly open. As a matter of fact, this is our first full 4-hour candle above the weekly open at 39,500, which is why I had to get out this emergency update as equity markets just closed. We have so much to discuss today, Snipers. First, let's dive into the immediate short term. I just want you to realize that the S&P 500 already tested its weekly open. If Bitcoin comes down to test 39,500, that is totally fine. But at this point, we are potentially seeing the early signs of Bitcoin breaking out to, at a minimum, test 42,000 US dollars based on this 6-hour candle. Just realize this, even if we came to test the weekly open, which we've yet to test. By the way, that shows that Bitcoin is stronger than S&P 500 right now in the immediate short term. But if we come to test this weekly open, we hold above 39,500, we're already getting our first full 4-hour candle confirmation. 42,000 is on the table. And realize this, Snipers, if we were to just look at the macro, now that we've discussed what's potentially on the table in the immediate short term, we all know that buying Bitcoin below the 600-day moving average in history has been the floor, where it has been a very strong area to accumulate Bitcoin. We actually took a long position today because of the fact that the 6-hour candle is so bullish. And so at a minimum, right now, testing 42,000 is not only significant in the immediate short term, but that would also get us back above the 600-day moving average. And you all know we are not expecting a capitulation, at least in the immediate short term, because there's continued Bitcoin leaving exchanges, which is typically what is the opposite that would usually happen. If there were to be a capitulation, we'd see Bitcoin coming onto exchanges. And so could we say that there's a case right now, Bitcoin gets above 40,000 where we have the 600-day moving average, holds price action above the 600-day moving average, and because we're starting to see PayPal, Facebook, and equity markets recover, could this be the worst and the third and final higher low for Bitcoin? These are things that are certainly on the table. Bitcoin maintaining price action right now above 38,000, which is the range support, is all that we need. And we're already seeing the signs of a rescue operation being above the weekly open at 39,500. That is the major break it or make it support level right now for Bitcoin. But let's talk about what's happening in the revolving part, Snipers, because major FANG companies reported earnings as the markets closed today. And check out all of these bullish puzzle pieces on our institutional 6-hour time frame that we closed traditional markets with. I'm going to start here with our bearish puzzle pieces that we're monitoring. First, the VIX. Look at this 6-hour candle on the VIX. Exactly what we'd like to see. Bearish rejection of the weekly open. This tells me that there is potential downside in the immediate short term for the VIX, which would allow the S&P 500 to breathe. And notice how the S&P 500 wicking above its weekly open. Could we see continuation to the upside for equity markets with the cryptocurrency market, and then the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart also staying bullish right now above the 20-week moving average? If this breaks down, I will let you all know below the monthly open at 72,000 Satoshis. But so far we're holding. That tells us that we are certainly positioned right now for Bitcoin to see this move above 42,000 US dollars, and a potential test of 39,500 at the weekly open is no big deal. So look at this MicroStrategy 6-hour chart. Why is MicroStrategy important? Well, I don't know if you watched Michael Saylor's interview, but he mentioned how MicroStrategy leveraging Bitcoin right now is almost better than a Bitcoin spot ETF. It's currently trading at about a 7% discount based on the amount of Bitcoin holdings that MicroStrategy has. And we saw the most amount of 6-hour institutional buy volume that we've seen since early March. And by the way, every time we saw that much buy volume, MicroStrategy bounced and formed higher lows. Even right now, a higher low, very bullish puzzle piece. And then Coinbase, the most crypto-centric stock in the equity markets. Wow, look at this institutional buy volume that came in today, along with other FANG stocks doing very well. PayPal today up over 10%. Facebook already up over 20% in the last 48 hours. Could we say this is a bullish 6-hour candle for Coinbase? Yes. ARK Innovation ETF, Kathy Woods. Some people like her, some people don't. Bullish 6-hour potential bottom candle here. Could we say, at least at a minimum, that we could be seeing a relief rally I believe that that is certainly on the table right now. Snipers, we just have to monitor this range right now. With Bitcoin, the weekly open, the major support at 39,200, 39,500, whatever you want to call it. The daily opens at 39,200. As long as we stay green for this daily candle, then there is a sign that there's a potential upside scenario right on the table in front of us with this bullish 6-hour candle. The DXY right now already breached not just the 2020 highs, but the 2018 highs. Could we say that at least at a minimum, we could see the DXY calm down right now? I think that that is very valid. And if that were the case, and if the DXY were to just do garden variety market behavior and retest this previous breakout resistance as a support, that would indicate over the next few weeks, the calmness in the DXY could allow, once again, the equity markets and Bitcoin to relieve themselves from the downside we've seen as of recently, but potentially even see strength, because Bitcoin has been quite the asset against the DXY. It has not reacted in a negative way whatsoever with the DXY and this parabolic move still inside of this flag consolidation pattern. Yes, it could be a bearish flag in the macro, but right now in the immediate short term, we are getting a higher low and a potential fulfillment of that higher low. And so we just need to keep that in mind. And then check this out, snipers. I know there's so much that we're covering, but there's so much that happened today. Bitcoin against the money supply already tested its 100-week moving average with today's weekly candle. Here's what I'll wrap up with, because this is what matters in the macro. Bitcoin needs to defend this weekly candle wick that it has formed at this 100-week moving average. And based on the way that we're going to close this week, because the monthly candle is also going to close, which means Bitcoin also this weekend has to defend this wick on the monthly candle to assume no breakdown is in sight. In my opinion, equity markets are closing in the position that we want them to for Bitcoin to protect this wick that we have on the monthly chart. If we close this monthly chart with this wick intact, that could also trigger volatility into this weekend, because this monthly candle also closes this weekend. But we're pretty much going to see the wrap up of equity markets tomorrow on a Friday, because you can see with equity markets, it's a little bit of a different ball game. As a matter of fact, perfect opportunity to show you what's happening on the SPY. So this is a monthly candle closing in less than 24 hours. And then watch this, snipers. I love how we just bring it back to the micro. On the 2-hour time frame, I don't know if you noticed this, but look how much buy volume we saw come in for the equity markets. We have not seen buy volume of this magnitude since we formed the previous higher low for the SPY. Could we say that just like we did in mid-March, seeing the same amount of volume, forming a higher low to see upside over the next few days into the next few weeks, with that same amount of volume on the table, could we say this could be a higher low? Absolutely, snipers. So here's how I'll wrap it up. There was so much on the chart. I was like, wait, we're going to look at this. And then we looked at 5 other things, but it's totally fine. These impromptu one-take videos, that's what we have to deal with. If you appreciate and support this 4-dimensional content, smash like button for the YouTube algorithm. Here's what we need to monitor, snipers. Bitcoin needs to hold above the weekly open right now. 39,500, 39,200 were the daily open. That could be like the max downside. But 4-hour candles holding above that level, the likelihood that we come to test 42,000 is high. And just realize this, as I mentioned from the start of this video, the longer Bitcoin has a cup of coffee here, the higher the probabilities of good news coming and a catalyst for Bitcoin to finally break above 45,000, which of course is a macro resistance. But we're seeing the early signs right now. Bitcoin trying to get back above its 600-day moving average. Fundamentals not indicating capitulation in sight. 6-hour candle just closed extremely bullish above the weekly open. The only next target above is 42,000. We break above 42,000. That's the previous weekly open. Major resistance. That could bring in some more volume to 45,000, right? Equity markets doing quite well. Exactly what we'd like to see on a Thursday. Coming into a weekend where the monthly candle's going to close. The VIX pointing down. S&P 500. 2-hour institutional buy volume, same amount that formed the previous higher low from this consolidation. All of the puzzle pieces right now are exactly what we'd like to see. And with that, that is about all for today, snipers. What an exciting time in the cryptocurrency market right now. Let's be careful with altcoins. Let's be careful with leveraged Bitcoin long positions right now and short positions, because they could easily be trapped below the 600-day moving average. Spot positions into Bitcoin at the 600-day moving average, right around 40,000, never a bad idea. Dollar cost averaging into the equity markets, maybe a bad idea, but MicroStrategy, Coinbase, ARK Innovation ETF, some of these Bitcoin-centric equities, not a bad idea right now, especially as they're selling off, right? So when it comes to the overall picture in the immediate short term, things look good. That's why I'm getting this video out right now. The 6-hour candle was bullish, snipers. Could we assume that we're going to be seeing continuation and follow through? Absolutely. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Remember, the range that we're in, 38,000 support, 42,000 resistance. In the micro time frames, things look good. And with that, that is all for today, snipers. I'll get an emergency video out if we break above 42,000, or if we break below the weekly open again at 39,500 with decisiveness. We could call that a floor right now, right? So let's stay above that weekly open. And with that, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. Until next time, snipers out.